Hello everybody, we're back for Bake's Take for my top four and first two out of leading up to week 9 of the 2018 college football season. My number one, I'm going to have to go with Alabama just because I don't want to be biased, but based off, strength of record, and I saw an ESPN poll on strength of record which had Notre Dame's at the top. But I will say talent-wise and how they've played, Alabama deserves to be number one right now. They haven't really played anybody. Texas A&M was the one good game that they have played, and they handled them fairly well. So Alabama, I will give them that, but we will see what happens with them when they travel to Baton Rouge to play LSU next weekend. They're currently on a bye, but I have Alabama number one. Number two, I have Notre Dame. Simply based off, the win over Michigan. Stanford's a little bit down there in the top 25. That was a big win, a big statement win by 3 touchdowns. And then Virginia Tech hasn't been quite the team we thought they would be, but granted they lost their quarterback, which was a huge blow. And then following, their upset loss, they kicked off the team, their star defensive end. So that's been a major factor for their football team as well. But still, to go into that stadium and get a victory of that magnitude with that crowd and to win by 20 plus points is huge. So I have Notre Dame at number two. Number three, I have Clemson, another undefeated. Clemson has struggled in a couple games this year. They did also beat Texas A&M though, but that's really the only team that I feel like is quality on their schedule. NC State, I just feel like, they were undefeated, 16th ranked going into the game, but they didn't have to play West Virginia. The Hurricane, canceled that game, which isn't their fault. But I feel like they would have had another loss leading up to the game with Clemson. So I have Clemson number three. Number four, I have LSU. I mean, their schedule speaks for itself. Miami hasn't turned out quite the way they were supposed to, nor has Auburn. But at the same time, LSU found ways to win those football games against talented teams. Their lone loss coming against Florida, but they also have a big test coming up with Alabama next week. They're also on a bye this week. And so I have LSU number four. My first two out, number five, I have Michigan. The early season loss to Notre Dame, close by a touchdown. It could have been broken open a little more by Notre Dame, but I feel like Brandon Wimbush kind of held the offense back in regards to scoring. Although I will say he did make a couple important plays in that game where he got out of some third and longs with his feet. But besides that, Michigan, that's their only loss. They had the big win over Wisconsin 2 weeks ago. They blew out the Badgers at home, and then they traveled to East Lansing and beat up on their little brother Sparty. But that was a game I thought Michigan should win. Their offense struggles a little bit, but the defense, plays lights out. They're a great football team on defense. The offense just needs to keep working to get it together. And Ohio State's looking more and more like a winnable game for them at the end of the season. It's at Columbus, but it's a huge rivalry. Everyone will be watching. Big game at the end of the year. And that'll basically, in my eyes, I think that's what will decide who goes to the Big Ten title game in the division. So it all comes down to Ohio State and Michigan, but Michigan can win, and if they win out, they're going to be in the playoff. My second team out, number six, I have Georgia. They had the blowout loss to LSU, which does not look good because they really haven't played anybody to date, but that will be taken care of here in the next few weeks. They got Florida this week. They have Kentucky in a couple weeks. And then possibly a showdown with Alabama, LSU in the SEC championship game. So, all those teams still have a shot to make it, but as far as it goes right now, I got number one Alabama, number two Notre Dame, number three Clemson, number four LSU, number five Michigan, and number six Georgia. That's Bake's Take for the week. Hit subscribe, and thank you, everybody. Have a good night.